promise to myself to not get lost in an endless hell. Just try and put my head somewhere else. Staying up late, wasting mornings, waking up on the bedroom floor, and can't tell if it's less or more than someone else.
Hey everyone, we are back with another road trip car review. Today we're spending time in the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe. It was restyled for 2019 and it has been out since about 2001. You still see a lot of the older cars on the road, and this one hopes to follow suit and keep the Santa Fe name going strong. So starting with the styling with this car, one of the big things you notice when you walk up to the front of it is a kind of quirky front end design. Hyundai made the, to some, controversial decision of splitting the headlights and the marker lights to give the car a distinct front fascia. I think it's a decision that's paid off very well for them so far. It makes the Kona, the Palisade, and the Santa Fe look very distinct. You definitely know they're Hyundais going down the road. And as they've gone through and polished the design out, I think it looks much better. It doesn't look too oblong or too sharp or too jagged. It just looks tasteful. It looks like they've spent the time in trying to make the car look nice and premium. And that's something that they did a fantastic job all the way around. They didn't try to make it too overly rugged. They didn't try to make it too overly posh. They gave it nice SUV characteristics. They tried to pay attention to what people look for and want in an SUV, and they didn't overstyle it and they didn't understyle it. So I think it kind of hits right at a perfect mark. And Hyundai's been pretty bold with some of their styling choices lately, so it's nice to see that that continues and that they're really trying to keep their designs and their looks fresh across their lineup and trying to do something different than just what everybody else is doing. It's really paid off and it's really helped set them apart in the market. So A+ to them for that. So moving into the 2020 Santa Fe, you'll notice it's very well appointed, and just about every feature you could want, you have in here. You've got power adjustable seats on the driver and the passenger side. You've got an extendable leg cushion to help keep things comfortable. The seats themselves are very comfortable. I haven't had any issue in my drive so far. They are heated and cooled in the front and heated in the rear. You've got a heated steering wheel as well, dual zone climate control with full range of adjustability, keeping everything nice and cool up front. You've got a beautiful 8-inch touchscreen for your infotainment system that houses your Apple CarPlay and your Android Auto. Comes with navigation, XM, rewinding satellite radio, all the stuff that you really want up inside of it. It's very easy to use. It's very well laid out. The Hyundai Kia system is one of my favorites just because of how intuitive it is. You have nice hard buttons on the sides for everything, and you have a favorites button that can be programmed to do just about anything you want within the car, and it helps make switching through certain tasks a breeze. Like when you get stuck in CarPlay and need to get out and do something within the touchscreen of the car, you can set the favorites button to do that and take care of it for you. As you move over to the steering wheel, on the left side of the wheel you've got controls for all of your phone calls and any kind of volume that you're trying to control. On the right side you have controls for all of your driver assists, for the distance for the cruise control, and all of the menu controls within your gauge cluster. The gauge cluster itself is a beautiful 7-inch screen that doesn't really suffer too badly from any kind of glare. It looks pretty nice regardless of what the sun is doing outside. You've got 3 different modes you can put things in: comfort, smart, or sport. Kind of changes the character of the car up a little bit and changes the color of the gauge cluster, which is a really nice little touch. You have all kinds of different modes within the gauge cluster that you can view and put the screen on, whether it's looking at tire pressure, what the all-wheel drive system is doing, paying attention to your cruise control, watching your fuel mileage, your trip computer. It has quite a bit of variability that you can put up within it. And it looks very sharp and very nice. You still have an actual tachometer over on the side, and you can use a digital speedometer either within the gauge cluster or up on your heads-up display that comes only with this Ultimate trim. So one of the last really cool things that you have in this car are turn signal cameras and a beautiful 360 camera. So anytime you go to change lanes, you'll see whatever is beside you pop up in your gauge cluster. And as you go to back up and park into different spots, you have a beautifully seamless 360 camera that you can change the views on to look either out the front of the car, either side, out the back, or look at your nice top view. And it really makes parking a breeze. You don't even have to look out to the side. You can see the vehicle and its surroundings so clearly. So moving on to driving dynamics in this Santa Fe. Driving down the road is smooth and comfortable. It's a thing that Hyundai has really been improving their entire lineup with. All of their cars have a much higher level of refinement as you get behind the wheel. They feel much more planted, much more sturdy. They don't feel hollow. They feel nice and substantial and roll down the road with that heft. And that's really nice. They don't ever feel too heavy. And this one here, even though it's about 4,000 pounds, the little 2-liter 4-cylinder actually motivates it quite well. The little 2-liter turbo makes about 235 horsepower and about 260 foot-pounds of torque, which may not sound like a lot, but it feels like plenty for this car. It'll get up and go just fine. You can make passing maneuvers on the highway with ease. If I had anything to say about it, it actually feels pretty zippy. You get a little bit of a lag right off the gate, kind of no matter where you're trying to start from as the turbo spools up. And as it goes, you definitely get some shove. It'll put you in the seat pretty reasonably. It has a fun feel, but I wouldn't consider it sporty. It's pretty tight as far as the driving dynamics. The steering doesn't have a ton of feel, but it guides itself very well, and you can still get it down the road with ease. The driver assist systems, such as the lane keeping assist and the cruise control, are one of the better ones we get to sample here. They don't bounce around, they don't hunt for things, they don't sling you back and forth as they're trying to stop. It's all just smoothly executed. Everything feels like the car is actually capable of assisting you with your driving, and that's just what it needs to do. So, getting it down the road, we've been getting some pretty reasonable gas mileage. We've been doing a lot of highway driving, and our average right now is sitting at about 28. It's supposed to get about 21 city and about 27 highway, so we've been little on the mark with that. I drive in a pretty economical fashion, so it's not too bad. I've been actually really enjoying my time in this car so far. Taking these long road trips can kind of wear on you sometimes, and you really see a lot of the things you do and don't like with these cars. And this one, I just keep finding things I like. There's all kinds of little things, like this beautiful headliner. I love it. It's one of the most awesome materials in this segment. It's almost kind of like a denim-y feel, but it's got this nice color, this woven texture, and it just helps kind of set the car apart and make it feel a little bit different and, again, a little bit more premium. That's really where Hyundai's hit it out of the park with this car. And it's something that people don't expect as you get behind the wheel. You don't really expect it to feel as refined and as comfortable and as just well put together as it does. The doors have a nice firm ka-thunk when they shut. Everything feels really good and really well put together, which you couldn't really say about some of these cars within the last 10, 15 years. So it's really impressive that Hyundai's made the jump that they have, and now they're going from being kind of the last choice of the segment to being one of the segment killers. And a lot of these new cars that Hyundai's putting out, when they go and they refresh something completely and redesign it, they do a really good job. You can see the Palisade just murdering its segment with its cousin, the Telluride. I mean, they went to great lengths to make a really awesome car. The new Sonata is the same thing. Just wonderful. Everything you want, everything you need is in this car. Even things you didn't expect that you need or know that you need. It's just nice to have. And for a nice, well-rounded price point, this car comes out to about $39,000. It's pretty impressive, all the things that are stuffed into here. And, you know, if you look at the competition, some of the extra things you get that you just can't have as even options in some of the other cars. It's tastefully styled, it's well-equipped and well-appointed, drives down the road calmly and comfortably, which is kind of the two adjectives that I've been using for Hyundai. Everything for them is just engineered nicely, and I appreciate the time and the effort that they've put into actually making their cars feel better instead of just trying to throw a lot of features at you. Because it's a whole different thing if, you know, it's just a gutted out box with a whole bunch of cool nifty things that it does. But these actually stay composed. They stay well put together. They seem like they're better built. They seem like they've been taking the time, paying attention, and making the effort that people wanted all along, and it's paying off for them. And so these Hyundais come at a pretty high recommendation now, regardless of the segment you're looking in, especially if it's one that's been released in the last couple of years. It's something you definitely need to check out and put a little bit of time and effort into researching if this is a segment you're trying to purchase in. Because I think aside from maybe the CX-5, this would be one of my top choices in this segment as far as comfort, feel, and the way it drives down the road. It's no little sport SUV, and that's where I think the CX-5 maybe has a little bit of an edge, is it drives a little bit better and is a little bit more engaging. But aside from that, this car is just as nice, has more features, and has really been pretty pleasant to take on his drive so far. So I'm actually looking forward to the rest of my trip, which I don't get to say all the time, but for this one, I'm going to really enjoy it. So the big things with this Santa Fe: it feels refined, it's quiet, it's comfortable. It is absolutely loaded to the gills with features. There's everything you could ever want and ever need inside of it. It drives nicely. It looks sharp. In the optional colors that it has, I don't think there's one that looks bad. Hyundai's been doing everything just perfectly lately. They've been really putting an effort in, putting the legwork in, and it shows. And their cars are starting to gain a little bit more of an influence. They're starting to be mentioned in the names with other really big manufacturers that they weren't in the company of even just a few years ago. So it's really impressive to see the strides they've made, and I keep pushing them real hard, and I hope they continue to put out products that weren't being pushed so hard. So if this is something that you're interested in trying or buying, please do. These cars are awesome. And if you do, let me know how you like it, what you got, what color it is. I'd be curious to know what you think. And stay tuned for more road trip car reviews. Hope to be coming at you with another one soon. Have a good one.